This is my story time on why I believe in Kala Jadoo. Now, I'm not going to put in every single detail. That's because, you don't need to put that all in the air. I'm just going to kind of tell you guys my experience. So when I was little, well, not so little, kind of like preteen or whatever, I was a rebel. But there was someone around, and she was evil. Her presence was evil. She did pujas that were just backwards. It wasn't regular, normal pujas. And every time I was forced to participate in these pujas, I felt very offsetting. I felt uncomfortable. I felt very anxious, and I didn't have anxiety back then. I always felt like my heart was like sinking to my stomach while I'm sitting there listening to what's going on. I didn't feel welcome at all. And one time, a bird flew into the window during the puja. Straight up and fell. And when that happened, the lady who I'm speaking of was like, oh, they're communicating with us. And that scared the shit out of me. And I remember I used to walk to school and whatnot, and I would have crows following me. I know this sounds crazy, but just listen. I would have a crow follow me to the bus station, and then I would stop, and then that crow would be there. And it's not like, oh yeah, I know the exact texture of this crow or whatever. I just felt it. Once again, this might sound crazy, but trust me, when you know, you know. Crows, for some reason, were always around me. I felt like I was being watched 24/7, and I felt very uncomforting. It literally felt like someone was watching me through the crow eyes, as if I was being stalked, as if they wanted to know what I was doing, who I'm with, what I'm talking about. That gut feeling is not good. Like, I always felt paranoid. When I would leave school, I would look around for these crows, and I would always see them. When I'm walking, they would hop pole to pole, following me. They would watch me enter the house, exit the house. They were always around where I was. And the next time we did the puja, and I'm putting quotes because it isn't puja, it is literally witchcraft. But anyways, the next time we did the witchcraft or puja, whatever, the Kala Jadoo, the person, she looked at me and she told me that I've been watching you. I know exactly what you've been doing. I don't like the people that you're hanging out with. And it's weird because she'd be at work the whole time. Like, she's not around. She would work pretty far from where I would be physically. And she would kind of pretend to be like summoned by something. Like, it wasn't her talking to me. She would like literally start twitching and then pretend or, something had came into her physical body. She would speak in Itauke, like Fijian. It wasn't Hindi, it wasn't Fiji Hindi, it was Fijian, like Gibiti. And every time she did that, I just felt so uneasy. I did not want to be there. It kind of felt like a ritual. And she would touch my hair. It was just, oh my God, ugh. Ever since I disconnected myself from these people, I haven't had, the amount of crows that I used to see, I barely see crows. I do not feel anxious. I don't have these problems that I used to. It's almost like my personality was being drained at the time. Like, I didn't know who I was. I felt like I was being watched all the time, whether I'm sleeping, whether I'm up, whatever it was. And I would tell my grandma about it. I'd tell my Aji about it, and she would be like, yeah, trust me, we've been knowing this. Anyways, I can't get too much into detail, but years later is when her true colors got exposed. And people refused to have her in their homes. People refused to have communication with her. She is now balding. If you're an evil person, it will catch up to you physically. Now, she always had, bad thoughts regarding me and my mother. She wanted me and my mother to have a downfall. She prayed the worst for us. And I would have nightmares, and it felt so real. It wasn't even like a dream. It was kind of like a vision almost, like a manifestation almost when I just have my eyes closed. Of her doing things at a different location and sending those, prayers to people, like as if she's a witch trying to target people through evil spirits. And this is just like, you always have to trust your gut. Like I was forced to be a part of this. I wasn't willingly wanting to. And I am so glad that I am as far as fuck as I can be from these people, because I promise you I wouldn't be the same person I am today if I stuck around. I am a very spiritual person. I am Hindu or a Sanatani. I do my pujas, you know, and I know what I'm talking about. I know things ins and outs. I know how backward people can be. I know that you have to protect yourself, your spiritual self as well. A lot of people don't believe in energy, but it's very real. And once you start to acknowledge it, it's gonna always be there. Anyways, that's just my little story time. I know it's a little long, but I'm like sweating right now just talking about it because I feel very uncomfortable. If you feel like something is wrong during a puja or, you know, anything that's going on, if you feel that it is not right, don't participate in it. Things can be labeled as a puja, but in reality, it is not. People like that are fucking evil, and you need to be away from those people.
Story time, how a love witch, me, got by a love spell, as in someone put a love spell on me, and why we need to be really careful with our words. Okay, so the scene is I'm in my mid-20s and I'm curious by the word. Ooh, straight, no chaser. Oh my goodness. Okay. This guy who I'm completely not interested in reaches out to me for a work collaboration. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? So I meet him and there's this like magnetic connection, but I don't have attraction on my end. That's the first red flag. Now I know damn well I should not be messing with this man because I know he practices magic. Not even the magic tradition that I do. But I do things for the plot in my 20s, and so I did it for the plot, and I learned a great lesson. This working relationship turns into a 2-year romantic relationship where I'm living with this person. Oh my goodness. And when I tell you, you're like, yes, how did you know that you were underneath the love spell? Okay, some physical symptoms that you notice. I felt like my beauty was draining, like it was energetically just being pulled from me, and I just love dressing up. I love getting ready. I couldn't sleep for the life of me. It was so hard to dream. I had like no energy, and that was also when I started getting like my anxiety panic attacks. My spirit was not having it at all. Now my grandma, who's the OG love witch, always told me, if you want to know a man, get him mad. You'll see all his true colors. So what did I do? I got this man mad. And in that moment of an argument, I felt my spirits mount me, and like they literally talked this through me, where they basically said, we do not consent to you nor your spiritual teacher, who he was getting guidance from, on this love contract. We do not agree to move forward. Literally, it just felt like things woke up really quickly. When I tell you that there was like spirits in that house while I was packing my shit, I was like, bye, you gotta figure this out. This is what you get for doing a love spell on a love wish. My people don't mess with me. You mess with me, you mess with the whole entire galaxy. And I could have easily saved him from being haunted for a few months, but like, who am I to get in the way of my girl karma's lick back on this man? Et voila. Choose your words wisely. Universe is always listening. Love you.
This was one of the most requested videos that you guys wanted me to talk about. So let's talk while I do my hair. And as you guys can see, I'm Haitian, so this is right up my alley. So if you guys have not seen this story yet, so the guy who made the video, his sister got into an altercation with, I guess you can say, a witch in the neighborhood. One of the things about Haiti, it doesn't matter what an elderly does. It doesn't matter what people do. You do not disrespect strangers. That is a fact. Like, you do not. That was one of the things that my parents taught me. Like, you never get disrespectful with anybody out in Haiti, because they will catch your ass back. After you've been disrespectful to an elder specifically, they can pluck their beard and throw it after you, and that's extremely bad luck. Don't know how it works, that's just what I was told. Anyway, let's get on with his story. His sister was rude to the wrong person, and I guess the wrong person is a witch in that neighborhood. And basically the witch, they don't normally say much because they're like really powerful people. So when the sister was being rude to her, the witch basically told the sister, you have 3 days. Even though the sister, being a part of that lifestyle, knows what the witch meant, she still disregarded what she said and went on with her life. And 3 days later, as the witch said, the sister started getting chronically ill. The sister is coughing and she has like this horrible fever and she's just bedridden and she's just getting worse and worse. And after some time of dealing with this sickness that had no cure, the sister winds up passing away. You know, they went through the funeral and the burial and everything, and at this point it's been, I believe, 2 months since the sister's been dead. When the family realized that the sister did not die of natural causes and that this was indeed witchcraft, they decided that they wanted to bring the sister back from the dead, that they wanted to raise her back. Now, if this sounds ridiculous for you, then clearly you must be new here, because this is so common in Haiti. In order to bring someone back from the dead, you need someone even more powerful than the person who unalived them to be able to do that. So there are levels to this shit. So it's basically undoing the work of another witch, but you have to be more powerful than that witch, period. So their uncle happened to be more powerful than the person who unalived the sister. So the family decided that the uncle was going to bring back his niece from the dead. Keep in mind that this is also undermining the previous witch's work, because it's like, I can undo what you did. And fair enough, the uncle goes to the tomb where she was buried, does his whole prayer and everything, and it was successful as he raised that man's sister from the dead. There were a few rules, like they were never allowed to talk about it, and they were never allowed to let the sister know about her past and that, you know, she had previously died. Now the witch heard word that the uncle had undone her work, and she's like, oh, word? Okay, so she goes to someone else who's even more powerful, I'm assuming, and they managed to turn that man's uncle into a cow. Yes, you heard that right. So the uncle is now a cow living on a farm somewhere, but the sister is alive. Now he mentions being terrified of his sister, to say the least. I mean, like, she was literally dead for 2 months and here she is back. And when she came back, she didn't seem like her old self either. She seems to be very different than the previous version of her that died previously. Now in Haiti, usually people raise up the dead because they're in need of workers. Usually in Haiti, people raise up the dead because they're in need of workers. But this was a special case because it was the uncle that raised up his niece because he wanted his niece to have a second chance in life. Now he mentions that his sister is still back in Haiti and that they do actually talk sometimes. And she has a boyfriend out there. However, every time she tries to have kids, she would give birth. And after 3 months of having the kid would unfortunately pass away. I mean, she really can't have kids, which was one of the things that I believe the uncle told them about as, like, you know, a side effect. Whatever spirit brought her back is going to keep taking whatever children she keeps producing. And dude himself right now is going through it because he's speaking out about it. And doing voodoo is basically like working for the government, as he says. Because why? You're not supposed to talk about these things. And well, he already talked about it on TikTok. So he's been saying that, you know, things are starting to pop up for him because he's not supposed to be talking about this. He went into so many details on his page about how he's been literally tormented by spirits and ever since he started talking about this. And he also knows that he did piss off some people back home who still want his head. He has a very prayerful wife, and I believe that he's gonna be okay. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want the full tea, you guys better go to their page. He done spilt a lot. I binge watched his page for a good 2 hours. If you're from the Caribbean or Africa, if you know, you know. This isn't a myth. This isn't just a story. This is the truth. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure you follow me on TikTok. I'm gonna make a longer, better, spooky version of this on my YouTube channel, so you better make sure you subscribe so you can catch it. And also follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real. And I love you, my abducted humans. And peace out from your favorite Haitian homegirl.
Okay guys, story time on the time that I actually fucking lost my mind over a man. And when I say lost my fucking mind, like, I'm not joking. This is the most desperate fucking thing I've ever done, and that says a lot coming from me, okay? And I've only ever told one person this, that person being my best friend. And I, with the exception of her, I thought I would take this to the fucking grave, but I'm obviously putting it out on the internet where my future employer can probably see this. But I don't care. I've stopped giving a fuck, and I consider all of us to basically be like besties. So like, literally get to know me while I tell you about the time that I did fucking voodoo to get a man to like me. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, I'm gonna preface by saying that I really fucking like this man, and this man literally did not like me at all. Like, he did not fucking like me, but I was determined. I was like, no, this is something, like, we're meant to be. We're fucking, like, in my little, like, demented psychotic brain, I was like, no, we're fucking meant to be, and you can't convince me otherwise. So one day I'm fucking laying in bed, right, rotting, depressed as fuck, just scrolling on TikTok, like, why can't he just fucking like me? Like, I need him in my life, like, you know? And I can't even say this seriously. Like, this is so fucking bad. Like, what is fucking wrong with me? But anyway, I'm scrolling on TikTok and I come across this fucking video. And the video is like, you want him to like you? Make this honey spell jar and he will never be able to, like, leave you alone. And I was like, bet. You don't even have to say any more. Like, literally, what do I need? I was about to get out of bed and go to the fucking store. Like, I'm making this fucking jar. Like, what the fuck? Okay, like, I was like, let's do voodoo to get him obsessed with me. And instead of being a normal fucking human being and being like, oh, like, let me, like, ask him, like, maybe he does like me, maybe, like, we could, like, we could be a thing. No, I didn't ask him and never asked him. I was just like, no, honey spell jar is perfect. So the video was like, all you need is honey, fucking herbs, like oregano, tarragon, like herbs, pen, paper, and like tranquil music and a jar. And I was like, shit, I have all of that right now. I don't even need to go to the store. So I run my ass to the kitchen cabinet and I'm getting all the fucking spicy herbs, okay? Like, I'm getting all the herbs. Like, we're about to make some fucking, like, soup. We're not about to make soup. We're about to literally dabble in fucking witchcraft. I can't say this seriously. So I get all of the equipment. I'm done being depressed. Like, I'm like, it's time to, we're gonna get this job done, okay? Like, I'm gonna do this and he will never be able to leave me alone. It didn't work. Anyway, so I lock myself in my fucking room. I grab my pen and paper and I start fucking writing. And when I say I start writing, I'm writing down like psychotic shit, okay? And one of the, like, very clear instructions that this girl provided for the people was like, don't write anything like that's supposed to control the other person. Like, you're only supposed to write like happy things, like, oh, like, I wish him happiness and health, like, I want a new job, I want maybe more money, no, like, stuff like that. But in my own little psychotic, twisted, fucking obsessed brain, I took it as like a, he will love me forever, he will never leave me, like, I need him desperately, like, literally some like fucking psycho shit, okay? So I start writing, the tranquil music is going, like, it's like, ah, like, shit like that. And bitch, I can, as I'm doing this, like, I'm really thinking, like, my third eye chakra is fucking opening, like, I'm on my witchcraft shit, like, literally, what is fucking wrong with me? So I'm writing, I write a fucking essay at this point, and I put my little spell in the jar, and I'm like, okay, like, depression has, like, left me. I'm like, we're good to go. Like, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and, like, he's gonna be like, baby, I need you. Like, what the fuck? Also, before I did this, I went on a deep dive, like, TikTok search of, like, other videos talking about this, like, voodoo spell jar, because I was like, I don't want bad karma. Like, I don't want to die tomorrow. Like, I need to know, like, if this is legit. And of course, all the videos I saw, and me also being very, like, delusional at this time in my life, all the videos were like, no, like, girl, it'll work, but you have to make sure. And when I say this is my downfall, basically, they were like, you have to make sure that, one, you get basically like an ancestor of one of the witches or something that invented this voodoo spell to give you, like, permission to do this. And if you can't get permission, like, don't do it, or like buy it off somebody, like, on fucking Etsy or something. And I was like, bitch, I don't have time to get permission. I don't have time to wait for, like, the Etsy shipping. Like, I need him obsessed today, okay? So I was like, I'm not getting any fucking permission. So yeah, that left the window already. So bad karma was on my way. Also, they mentioned that, like, once you make this spell jar, and if it works or if it doesn't, whatever, and whenever you want to, like, cut your ties or something, you have to make sure that you break it. Like, you have to, like, yeet, like, throw it on pavement or something and shatter the jar. Or, like, if you throw it out without doing that, it could give you, like, lifelong terrible karma. Okay? And I was like, okay, like, bet, like, I'm gonna make sure to, like, hide this and like never let anyone find it, obviously, and I'm gonna make sure to dispose of it properly. And I was like, okay, like we're good to go, obviously. So the jar is done. I put it under my like bathroom sink because I'm like, okay, like no one ever goes in my bathroom sink besides me. Like obviously this is the best hiding place for it, right? And as time goes on, he's not obsessed with me and I'm becoming more delusional by the fucking day, okay? Like this jar is like low-key not fucking working in my favor at all. And I'm like, one day, like time has went past and like I'm going under my bathroom sink to like look for like lotion or like fake tan or something, whatever. And I'm scrounging around. And I'm like, where is this fucking voodoo spell jar that I made? As like a normal person would obviously think, like, where's my voodoo spell jar? So I'm scrounging. I'm like, where the fuck is it? Like, I'm actually scared. Because now I'm like, who the fuck went into the bathroom sink where it was supposed to be hidden? Because I sure as fuck did not throw the spell jar out. I didn't. So I go around asking each of my fucking family members, like, have you seen like a little brown jar, like a fucking tweaker? And obviously I was not going to tell anyone what was in the jar because like if I told my mom, she would have sent me to the fucking mental hospital. Like she would have been like, bitch, you have mental problems. Like you need a straitjacket. Like get the fuck away from me. But I was like, Mom, have you seen like a little brown jar? Like, and she was like, yeah, like I threw that out like a few weeks ago. And I was like, ma'am, come again. Like what, you threw that out. And she doesn't even know what she's done to me because in my little delusional brain, I was actually terrified. Like I was fucking terrified for months on end. Low-key, I still am. That this jar, because it was not disposed of properly, like the voodoo, the karma, is all gonna come crashing down, like to me. And I'm not joking, I lost sleep over this shit, okay? Like literally lost sleep. Like I would not go to sleep without being like, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and like die because of this like voodoo jar. Like why did I fucking dabble in like fucking voodoo? Like why did I do this shit? Like what is wrong with me? Like literally lost sleep over it. And anytime something bad happens to me today, I'm like, no, this is literally karma from that voodoo jar that I made. So yeah, that is literally the time that I actually fucking lost my mind over, man. And I genuinely think this is like the most psychotic thing I've ever done because I refuse to believe that there's other people doing this. So yeah. So if like literally I die tomorrow, just know that it's because of this voodoo spell jar that I made because of a man. So yeah.
Story time on how I found out that my high school best friend was doing witchcraft on me. Quick disclaimer before we get into the story. I understand that not everyone believes in supernatural things and like spiritual warfare and things like that, but I do. So if you don't believe, then just keep scrolling. Don't come over here trying to invalidate my experience, okay? So let's get right into it because I've been waiting a lifetime to tell my story. So I met her my freshman year of high school back in 2004. The way that we met was we both were bused to a school in a different area. So we lived in the same neighborhood, and so we would have to ride the school bus like way up north to go to school. So eventually we, started talking and we clicked instantly. We became like sisters. Like we would spend the night at each other's houses, tell each other all our secrets. We were literally like two peas in a pod. Over time, I started to notice that this girl would always try to like throw little microaggressive insults at me or like downplay my accomplishments or just like compete with me on the low. But me being young and dumb and naive, I didn't really notice it. I kind of just brushed it off, I guess. But my mom would always tell me like, this girl does not really like you. You need to cut her off. Like she's a hater. But I didn't believe it. I thought this was my best friend. So I just continued to let it go on. Fast forward to years later after we already graduated high school and started to do our own thing, I started getting into modeling and doing like photo shoots and trying to build my portfolio and things like that. And I guess she was jealous of that. So she would always go on social media and try to like throw shots at me. And I was a teen mom. I did have a baby in high school. And so she would like throw little insults about that and be like, bitches need to worry about their baby and stop trying to be models and shit, and like little stupid shit like that. So one day I text her and I told her like, are you talking about me on your status or whatever? Because she posted it on Facebook. And she was just like, she immediately got defensive. She was just like, no, nobody's talking about you, but if the shoe fits, then wear it, bitch, and da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, whoa, calm down, like, So it turned into this big altercation. And then eventually I just told her like, because you think you're better than me, God is gonna make sure that I rise above you. So after I said that, she got offended and was just like, well, rise above then, bitch, I don't care. And then we we hadn't talked to each other anymore after that. I cut her off. I went my own way, minded my own business. Fast forward to I want to say 3-4 years later, I ended up going viral on the internet for a selfie that I posted. Many of you probably seen the picture. I might insert it in here, I don't know. So I amassed this large amount of followers on Instagram. I think I went from having 15K to 180,000 followers or something like that. At this point, I'm not even thinking about this girl. I forget all about her because we hadn't communicated in so long. So I'm not thinking about this girl, but her sister ends up contacting me, her little sister that's still in high school. And she's just like, I don't want nothing to do with the beef between you and my sister. I don't have nothing to do with that. Can you do my hair? Because I was really good at doing hair at the time. So she was just like, can you do my hair? And I'm just like, yeah, sure. I don't mind. I don't have no problem with you. So it became a reoccurring theme of her sister coming to my house every month to get her hair done. And eventually someone started harassing me from fake accounts on social media. And immediately I'm thinking it's the little sister because she's the only one that's been coming to my house. And I'm not thinking about my ex-best friend at this point. I'm thinking she's minding her business too and living her life, So I end up confronting the little sister one day and I message her and I'm like, is that you messaging me from these fake pages? Because you're the only one that's been to my house. No one really comes to my house like that, so it has to be you. And it's not even dawning on me that it's the ex-best friend doing all this. Mind you, the things that were being said to me behind these fake pages are things that only my ex-best friend and her little sister would know. They're the only people that I really invited over to my house. So after that, she stopped coming to get her hair done. Continued to just do me, I'm steady rising up on social media and getting all these followers. I ended up opening online stores and utilizing my platform to make money and things like that. I'm balling out of control. I'm feeling myself, And then all of a sudden, everything just out of nowhere just starts falling apart for me. Out of nowhere, my transmission goes out on my car. I ended up getting evicted from my place. My sales started to decrease. I started getting sick. All kinds of crazy stuff just starts happening. So at this point, I end up having to go move in with my boyfriend's family. And I start having these nightmares, really, really bad nightmares about somebody throwing darts and arrows at my back and just all kind of crazy stuff. So at this point, I'm just what the heck is going on? So I start getting psychic readings to try and figure out what's going on. I don't know what even possessed me to want to do that, but that's what I did. I got a reading and they started describing the person to me and saying yeah, someone that you've been knowing for a very long time has been stalking you from fake pages and sending you negative energy. And they've been paying some man to put hexes and spells on you. So at the time, I'm thinking it's my boyfriend's sister because she's heavy into I don't want to say witchcraft, but spiritual work and stuff like that. She has a whole ancestral altar. She's lighting candles and she into doing jars and all that type of stuff. So I'm thinking it's my boyfriend's sister because I already kind of sensed that the sister was a little envious of me and she would always, try to compete with me and stuff. So I'm thinking it's the sister. And then not to mention, I forgot, when I was living with his family, the sister and I ended up getting into it and we ended up leaving. So at that point, when I started having the nightmares, I'm just why do I feel your sister is doing witchcraft on me or something? Something's not right. I feel off. My energy was off. All this bad stuff just kept happening, one thing after another. So after getting the first reading and they kind of described the person to me, they're just yeah, she's brown skinned with chinky eyes and you've been knowing this person for a long time. Mind you, my boyfriend and I have been together since fresh out of high school and we all went to the same school. So I'm thinking it's the sister because I'm technically I did know her since I was younger, since high school, So it gets to the point where I'm low-key obsessed with these readings because I felt every time I would get one, they would give me another piece to the puzzle of determining what's really happening or whatever. They keep telling me yeah, someone that you know is doing spell work on you. They're paying some man to do spells on you, basically. So I'm intrigued and at the same time scared, So I'm getting reading after reading after reading because I'm trying to convince myself that this isn't true, but at the same time it's every psychic that I talk to is telling me the same exact thing. So I'm that's not a coincidence. There's millions of psychics in the world and every single psychic is saying the same thing, So one day I basically pray to God and ask him, like, if this is really happening, can you reveal this person to me that's doing spell work on me or whatever? Like, can you please just show me if there is someone doing this? Like, can you just reveal that person to me? Like, I'm being so sincere. I'm crying and everything, like, because I'm so, like, distraught by the situation. I kid you not, when I say less than 2 weeks later, the high school best friend pops up out of nowhere. I hadn't seen this girl in almost 12 years. And all of a sudden, she pops up on social media. But at this point, it still hadn't dawned on me that it was her. So the way that she ended up coming across my path again is there's a guy that we went to high school with, and me and him were like real cool or whatever. And he had like a clothing line, and I guess he was sending her stuff like from his clothing brand to promote on social media. So he posted her on his Instagram story wearing his gear or whatever, his merch. So I instantly messaged him and I was just like, oh my God, that's my high school best friend. I haven't seen her in forever. Like, I miss her. So I'm still, completely oblivious to the fact that this is the girl that's been targeting me spiritually all this time. So he basically tells me like, yeah, she's cool or whatever. You should hit her up so that you guys can reconnect. And I'm just like, we fell out really bad. I don't think she would want to like talk to me, And he's just like, we're grown now. Like, that was in the past. You guys should just put that behind you and be cool again. So I end up sending her a friend request on Instagram. She instantly denies my friend request like 2 minutes later. I kid you not. So that let me know that she still had a problem with me. So I left it alone. I was just like, whatever. Like, if she wants to hold a grudge, then that's on her. So the guy ends up hitting me up like the next day. Like, did you ever hit up Tasha or whatever name we were giving her for the story? And I'm just like, I tried to friend request her and she denied my friend request. So I'm guessing she's still mad. So he's just like, I'm gonna talk to her or whatever, because that's not like her. Like, she's usually pretty cool. And I do want to add real quick that now that everything has transpired, I kind of feel like she saw me and him on social media interacting with each other because she was stalking me all those years. And she kind of targeted this guy on purpose. So I want to say a couple hours later, she ends up inboxing me in my DM on some fake shit like, oh my God, hi, how have you been? I've missed our friendship and all this bullshit. And still at this point, I'm still oblivious to the fact that she's been targeting me all this time. So we end up catching up. We end up exchanging numbers and, we're talking for a good 3-4 months. Everything's fine. So I'm going to have to tell the rest of the story in part 2.
One of the craziest stories I have is when I first started getting into witchcraft, I kind of dabbled in like hexes, that kind of area. I don't anymore because I've learned my lesson that if it backfires, man. Okay. But when I was doing them, I had this friend who's also a witch, and she went through something really awful with a coworker of hers. And I really don't hex people unless they are the worst of humanity. So I won't hex an ex. I won't hex someone who made me mad that day. I don't hex anymore. But that's beside the point. This person's a very, very, very awful person. And we decided to do a hex. And we got it all set up. We did it. It was real intense. And then we go to bed. And it was weird because we left the door to her bedroom like open, which I don't know why we did that, but it was creaked open a little bit. Anyways, I was asleep, my friend was not. She reaches over to grab something and knocks it off. I apparently sit up in bed and just start muttering. Apparently we had a conversation. I don't remember that at all. And I don't sleep talk. So that's very not normal behavior for me. In the middle of the night, the door to her bedroom slammed shut. I was asleep, my friend woke up for it. Just slammed shut in the middle of the night. The next day that she has a shift with this person, he gets fired. Witchcraft? She's crazy. I have so many more stories like that. It's actually crazy. It's the best.
Excuse me, hello. Do y'all know that men do witchcraft, voodoo, all that stuff just as much as women do? If not more. Story time. So I remember when I first got with my ex, my sleep started not being so good. So I'm like, Lord, what is going on? Why can't I sleep? I'm tired. I'm starting to get darkness under my eyes. What's going on? So I prayed about it. I say, Lord, why am I not sleeping peacefully? And one thing about it, two things for sure. When I ask the Lord for an answer, he always give me an answer. So one night we in the bed, we sleeping. I'm like, I'm about to turn in. I'm going to go to sleep early or whatever. And only thing I know is as soon as I hit that sleep, like I'm about to be in a deep, deep sleep, I'm like, yes, I'm about to go to sleep. God say, wake up. He said, wake up. Don't move. Keep your eyes closed. Right? Basically, continue to play sleep. And I did just that, because when God spoke to me, it shocked my whole body. I couldn't even go back to sleep. So I'm just laying there and I'm like, all right, Lord, what you want me to be up for? Like, what you want me to be up for? So I'm up for like a good 20 minutes just sitting there, laying there. I'm like, all right, Lord, like, I want to go to sleep. I want to catch my ZZs. He said, be quiet. Just lay there. And so I'm looking at my ex. He sleep. And so I turn over. I look at my ex. He is still asleep. He giving sleep or whatever. And so only thing I know is I started breathing heavy as if I was all the way asleep. Y'all, why this man leans over and starts spelling and chanting in my ear about how all of my energy is going to be his, how I'm going to be stuck on him. Oh, you're going to be mine. It's literally like spelling and chanting in my ear over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And still to this day, he don't know that I know. The whole time he thought he was laying something down, I was rebuking it and sending it right where it needed to go. Rebuking it and sending it right where it needed to go. It got to a point where I told him, I looked him dead in his face. I said, I know what you're doing and I know who you are. You cannot break me. It will never happen. And I asked him one day, randomly, I said, are you a warlock? This man bust out and started laughing, called his cousin, who was like, cuz, you can't believe what this girl just asked me. But that motherfucker never said no. He never said no. Never said no. I told him, you can't break me. It got to a point where everything that he was trying to do to me ended up happening to him. Ended up happening to him. It got to a point where he said, yeah, you know, you're a really strong woman. Like, your spirit, everything about you, you just strong. I know. As a woman, stop being pressed when a man wants to talk to you or be around you. Your only currency that you have with men is your energy and your beauty. If you get with a man and you notice that glow that you had before is gone, or you start, your skin is looking dull, your beauty is fading, he's ciphering your energy and he is ciphering your beauty. That's what he's doing. That's what men take from us. A lot of men don't, okay, they care about the money. They care. But as far as your energy and all that stuff, don't give it up easily. Don't give it up easily. They come around just for that energy. Just for that energy. They want it. They need it. Without a woman's energy, a man ain't worth 2 pennies for real.
Story time about how a warlock did witchcraft on me and had me bound to him for 3 years. I couldn't move on. And it ruined my life, and the spell that he did almost killed me. Like to hear it? Here it goes. So I woke up the other morning and God just kept saying, tell your story. I didn't tell this story for a long time because, one, I was very scared because I didn't know, and two, it's crazy. And it's like, I didn't want the backlash because I'm like, I don't even know that this is not real. It's no way. I didn't even know it was a spell. I didn't know what was going on. Of course, now being on social media more and seeing that so many people are experiencing it, it's really like, okay, but people are experiencing it and they still don't know what's going on. They just are experiencing these the effects of it, but not knowing what's really happening. So I'm gonna break it down to you. I'm no longer scared. Maybe I am a little, but I know God got me because he gave me the go ahead to tell this story. So here it goes. Also, this is a disclaimer that this is over a 3-year thing. So these will be a lot of parts. I never do videos like this, but this is something that I feel like is very informative and it will really help people understand. And then I will also tell you how I broke it. So here we go. Back in 2021,
I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I met this guy at this job that I worked at. Now, when I first saw him, before I initially met him, I remember thinking, like, that dude looks dark. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, you know, but he was cleaning the floor. So I didn't even pay him any attention. But I just remember thinking that it was in my peripheral that I saw that energy. And then I looked at him and I was like, ooh, what's up with that dude? So fast forward to like maybe like a month later, I'm at the job and I didn't work a lot of mornings. So I didn't really see this dude but that time. So about a month later, I am in the kitchen and I worked like a whole shift and I didn't even see him. I didn't even think I saw him. I didn't know, you know what I mean? So you probably don't know, but you'll see. So I just started listening to jazz music at this time. So I heard somebody was playing towards the end of the night. Somebody was playing jazz music. And so I'm looking around in that kitchen because in this kitchen, there ain't nobody in there that I would think that would be playing some jazz music, first off. Because I'm like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? So he like, his voice, like, bro, I used to, like, when I first heard his voice, I was like, ooh, who was that? To the point where I didn't even put the two together. I didn't even realize that the dude that I first saw was this dude. Total night and day. Crazy. So I think that night, like, I kind of was just like, we talked a little bit and I wasn't looking for anything because I was kind of still talking to someone, kind of. So I didn't really like move forward with this guy, but we talked, you know what I mean? A little bit. He like followed me into the room, thought I was a stripper, really crazy. And because I still wear rhinestones like all on my face. I've been the rhinestone girly like since forever. So I used to wear rhinestones. I used to wear rhinestones on my face, and I still do so. And so he thought I was a stripper, and so we just had a little casual conversation. And I remember like not really even liking this guy like that. And mind you, I still was kind of wrapped up with this dude. Like, we were towards the end, but I'm still, you know, wrapped up. So I didn't give this guy no time of day. Too much time of day. So we went into like later on that night, we were both leaving around the same time. He kind of waited around for me. So we get into his car. We're like talking, and we finally get into his car, which now I realize why we got into his car, because he didn't want to be seen. So, and I remember like he pulled up his shirt. Let me tell you something. This baby was the finest dude I ever seen in my whole entire life. He was fine to me. Like, I mean, even then, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to. Even then, like, he was fine. He pulled his shirt up 6, 8, 9, 12 pack. Fine. That's how I feel like if you would have rubbed something, it would have been like crazy. So freaking, I was just like, oh! Now, I'm dating a trainer, but Shorty don't look like that. You know what I'm saying? Shorty ain't look like that. So I'm like, oh man. But I also didn't know that at this time I had discernment. So I remember we're talking, and I'm like, you probably still with your baby mama, aren't you? Because he's telling me about his kids and all that stuff. And I'm like, you probably still with your baby mama, aren't you? He's like, nah. So I'm like, all right. Mind you, I've never been with anybody with kids. Let me see if I'm lying. No, I've never been with anybody with kids. I never talked to anybody with kids. I didn't know the baby mama drama. I didn't know none of that. So time goes on after that. We kind of go our separate ways. I go home, wherever he does. So he's calling a lot around this time. Mind you, I'm still talking to Slim. We're not in a relationship, but we're still talking, and I don't do all that double and all that. I don't do all of that. But we're dating. It's nothing like crazy. It's not, but we were dating. At this time, we're ending everything, but it's still, you know, it's still all that drama. He was very toxic. We were toxic together. I will say that. So this guy, so we're gonna, matter of fact, let's give these people names. So the dude at the job was, his name, let's call him, I don't want to be too close, so let's call him Richard. And the dude that I was talking to, let's call him Skeeter. Okay, so the dude I was talking to is Skeeter. The one that I just met is Richard. So, dang, my son is leaving. Is that a sign? So, Richard's constantly calling me. I'm not really entertaining it until finally me and Skeeter break up officially, like, or stop talking officially. Like, we're done. I'm done with all of that. So I call Richard, and I'm like, I just had all this happen because Skeeter like attacked me. Well, he tried to. And I'm sitting here like, so I called Richard, and I'm like, he just attacked me, and we was just fighting and all that, and I'm just like upset, and I ended up, calling him. He comes over, brings me like a Caesar salad, brings me like some food, brings me like some candy, like all this stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, Skeeter's so cute. I'm sorry, Richard's so cute. So Richard, we're like, he's in the house and we're talking all that stuff. Mind you, still, I don't like him like that, but he's constant. He's so persistent. Now he's fine, but I just stopped talking to somebody, so I'm like, I'm not interested. Interested. Oh my gosh, it's interested. Why are people saying interested? So I'm not really interested, and but he's persistent. So I'm gonna go to do a part 2.
I'm gonna give you guys a story time of when my Ecuadorian grandmother summons a devil to come and take me. So I was 11 years old, and her and I did not get along. And she told me, "You're so disrespectful tonight. I'm gonna pray to the devil for him to come and take you." So that night when I was laying in bed, I heard. So I look to my door frame and I see a figure still tapping its nails along the door frame. From the waist down, it was some kind of an animal. I want to say it was either a goat or a horse. From the waist up, it was a jack man. He was really dark with red glowing eyes and like a big grin, like an evil smile. He was staring at me. I could not scream. I remember being like trying, and I was like totally paralyzed. I think I was so afraid that I literally passed out. The next day I woke up and I was not sure if that was a dream or not, but when I told my grandmother, she was laughing at me and she said, "I told you the devil was going to come and get you." So all day in school, I was wondering if it was a dream or if she was really messing with me. That night, that thing appeared again. I somehow knew to start praying, and then it went away. I booked it to my grandmother's room and I woke her up and I said, please let me sleep with you. The thing came back again. It's real. It came back again. And that lady was so cruel. She forced me to go back to sleep. I did not sleep a wink that night. I went to school. Then that same night, same thing. She wouldn't let me sleep with her. And it appeared again. This night I was in the form of a cross. I was petrified. I was so scared. And I was ready for it to come, because at that point I knew that calling out to Jesus made it go away. So when it came again, I prayed, and then I ran to her room and I woke her up. The next day, actually, let me rewind. That night she did let me sleep with her, because I told her, I said, "I don't care what you say." I was crying, bawling my eyes. I said, "I'm staying in here. You can't make me go back to my room." So I ended up staying the night in her room. The next day I went to school. When I came home, something must have happened or transpired that she didn't make me aware of, because there was a priest in my house when I got home and he was blessing the whole house. And then after that, it didn't ever come back.
Okay, so story time. So I had seen somebody post about on TikTok. I had seen somebody post about talking about someone's trying to do witchcraft on you and this and that, right? On they're trying to attack your car specifically. So it brought back, it reminded me of the time when a couple months ago, I had got a reading from a friend. She's very intuitive. She's amazing. I had got a reading from her, and she's like, she was like, yeah, someone's throwing something at you, and they're trying to spiritually attack your car as well, so that you can get in a car accident, or you can total your car, or you just get hurt or your car breaks down. I was kind of in a denial for a little bit, but I still believed her. And now she's like, what, I'm just gonna up my protection, and I'm gonna cleanse myself, and just stay positive, because none of that shit is going to I rebuke that. So literally, mind you, for a month straight, I have a Chevy, so let's just say I would see the same model, right, that I have. I would see it all the time, at a red light or just anywhere in my city, and I would see that specific car hit from the side, or like just, you know, like basically like wrecked, let's just say. You know, like if everybody that I would see with my car, the same car as me, I would see it like hit, you know, like if they got in an accident. So that's how it to me, that was like a sign, like, yeah, someone is trying to do something to you. But thanks to God in Santa Muerte, I never, you know, wrecked my car. And obviously I returned whatever the fuck, you know, somebody was trying to put on me. Like, I returned that shit back to them. But that's how I knew, like, it was confirmation for me that, yeah, someone was trying to do, you know, witchcraft on my car. Because literally, like, it was just crazy how I would always see my car right on the street somewhere, same model of my car, and it would be hit, or like, you know, they would have an impact on their car. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. So definitely, you know, whenever people do witchcraft on you, definitely, you know, your car will either like break down, you'll get in a car accident, or, you know, like you get sick, or you have nightmares, or there's so many signs. But this was my sign or whatever, in confirmation that I needed, you know, that like someone was trying to do witchcraft on me and wanted me to be unalived, basically, in a car accident. But anyways, I'm divine and I'm spiritually protected and I'm highly favored. So fuck whoever tried to do witchcraft on me, bitch. Fuck you, fuck your mom, fuck your grandma, and your daddy. I have so many more stories or whatever. Like, if y'all like this, you know, like story times or whatever, let me know and I'll definitely make some more videos, because I have so many more, like, you know, stories about people who try to do witchcraft on me. And like, ever since I was literally like a fucking kid, a toddler, like. So let me know if you want to listen to some more. Like, I honestly don't really like to share, you know, I like to suppress a lot. I mean, I definitely have been healing. Healing is like literally a lifelong journey. And, you know, I feel like I just didn't really share, you know, a lot of stories with a lot of people about like my upbringing, but definitely will though if y'all into that.
This is a story time of how I found out that someone has been working witchcraft over my life, and I found out who it was a couple weeks ago. Let me start off by saying that witchcraft does run in both my bloodlines of the family. I am Jamaican. I just never believed in it, and I always thought that if I don't believe in something, that it can't reach me. But boy, was I wrong. So I'm gonna start by 2 years ago, which was everything went downhill for my life. Prior to this, my business was up, business was booming, bought my car, everything. I was prospering. I moved into a new place, and a couple months into that, I actually had a rapture dream. And the dream was God was calling me. So I took that very serious. A couple months after that, me and this person wasn't talking at this time, but a couple months after that, I got into a car accident. The day of my accident, I just felt uneasy and I felt like something was gonna happen. I just didn't know what. 5 minutes later, after I left my house, I got into a car accident that left me with back injury, nerve damage in my arm and my knee. Again, I wasn't speaking to that person at the time, but I had to speak to them in order to sort out my car situation. So we rekindled whatever, we were cool, whatever. A couple months after that, I had a sleep paralysis in my dream. I was sleeping on my stomach this time, and I just felt a dark figure overshadowing over me, and I just couldn't move. But I was awake mentally or whatever. I didn't read the Bible as much growing up or whatever, but for some reason I recited this one Bible verse in my head, and that's how I woke up out of that. It was the walking through the valley of death, shadow valley of death, whatever. See, I don't even know it right now by heart, but I knew it in my sleep to wake up. Then I ended up having to move, and I moved into a new place. This person didn't know where I moved, but they ended up getting my address because they wanted to deliver something to me or ship something to me or whatever. Ever since then, things started to take a turn. Let me say this, I didn't pick up on any of these things until a couple weeks ago when I asked God to reveal these things to me. I started seeing flies in my house, black flies, like regular flies. And it was like I was killing 6 to 10 flies a day. There was no open spaces in my house for me to see where the flies were coming from. Like, I was spending day and night trying to figure out where they're coming from. Until I found out that's one of the signs that someone is working witchcraft over you. And it was just so ironic when they found out my address that all these things are happening. The next thing is I've been having snake dreams. And when I mean snake dreams, I'm talking thousands of snakes in my dream. Until I found out that's another sign of somebody working witchcraft over you. Take your dream serious. This person had delivered something to my house, and I had it in my house because it was furniture. I ended up losing my place and had to find somewhere else. For the past 2 years, my mental health has been so bad. I've been stagnant. I've been in a repetitive cycle in my life, and I just could not figure out what it was. I had to stop running my hair business because of this. I had finance issues. I've lost my job, like a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like every time I don't speak to this person, this is what happened. Until a couple weeks ago, I deleted all my social media, so the person no longer has access to know what I'm doing or me personally.